Hello beautiful people, how are you today? Today I'm going to be showing you a tutorial on how to digitally paint eyes. And the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to open up a new layer and rename it Eyes. As soon as it will load. And then you're going to go into painting, you're going to select a round brush and create a white offset blue color with a little bit of gray, and you're just going to paint inside the eyes. It does not have to be perfect because we will blend out. Just try to make it as even as possible though. And you're just going to want to do that to the other eye now. And yep. And after that, you're just going to kind of take note and figure out, you know, what color the eyes are and if they have any like spots or anything like that. And then while you're doing that, you're going to alpha lock the layer by holding down, and a little notification should come up. Not a notification, but alpha lock should come up. And you're going to want to select the airbrush tool and kind of make it this gray color and keep on blending out. And then make it a higher opacity and a higher brush, going back with white and kind of soften that dark line like that. And then make it smaller and more opacity. And just kind of make it, yeah, and just blend it out. And then after you get to the desired, you know, shading, you're going to want to switch back and forth between hiding the layer of those eyes that you already made and figure out what color that the person's eyes are that you were doing, or what color you would like it to be, and take that same airbrush tool and switch back and forth to figure out where exactly the irises and the pupils lie, and just mark it where you see, and then do the same to the other eye. And see, she has this like little green-ish dot right here, and you want to just make note of that, so you're gonna want to put just a little bit of spot right there if they do have that. And then you're going to want to hold down, select that color again, and make it a little bit darker and make where the pupil should be. Mark the pupil and then go up a little bit higher, because the higher the inside the eye, the darker it will be, because that lid is covering it, so it should be darker. And then you're just gonna want to make the color even darker and go in with the airbrush and just lower, and the tool is actually called soft airbrush, and you're just gonna want to go in where you see is right and just kind of look at eyes and figure out what you want to do, and make sure always to go around the eye itself like this, because it's always going to be darker than the inside, and it just looks more visually pleasing and it's just more natural. And after you do that, you're going to make the size a lot smaller and make these teardrop shapes just all around while turning, because if you don't turn and you just kind of like turn your hand, it'll kind of go off centered and it'll look just funky and weird. And this is the same color as the iris and the pupil. And then after you do that, you're going to want to take a lighter color, lighter than the color that's already on their eye, like so, and then go right over that dark color in a teardrop kind of eye effect. It should look weird right now, you know, it's not gonna look too neat or nice or pretty or anything, but we will just keep on going over it and it'll look better as the steps that we take. After that, you're gonna want to go back to the dark color and do the opposite. Just kind of go underneath that where there's like, where it's you know, not marked, the opposite way, pointing outwards, not inwards, and the same teardrop effect. And you're going to want to do the same thing by getting that lighter color right there and just keep on working it in, and by now it should start kind of looking like a flower and it should start looking a little bit better than before. We're going to do that to the other eye. Try not to move on to the next step before you already have your colors. Like, try not to go to the other, try not to finish one eye and then go to the other, because then you'll kind of lose colors and the colors might go off. After you do that, you want to lower the opacity of the airbrush, make it a lot higher, and go back in that dark color and kind of just shade a little bit more where that pupil was and where those shadows are, just whatever looks right. Go back into the iris color and then go over where that should be. And I do it this blue color, and I don't go over the yellow yet with that blue, and then after I'm done with that, I just go over the yellow. The next step you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do the whatever it's called. I can't think of what it's called. It's the teardrop. Yeah, I think so. And you're just gonna want to make it kind of like a light corally color and just kind of make the outline. Then you want to add shadows, lower the opacity, lower the size, and make the little veins in the eyes just a little bit. Not too dark, but not too light. Just play around and see what you like. And after you add the shadows, you're going to want to go in a lighter color. We're still adding, or no, we're done adding shadows. After you do that light color, you just want to kind of go over the whole eyelid. And then on this part, I have this special pack, which I will link down below. I talk about it all the time. It's called the Makeup Pack. And I just kind of stamp that on there, and like so. I click that little snake looking thing, I circle around it. I press the arrow on the left side and I move it with my 2 fingers. Don't worry if it's, you know, not the exact color you like, because you can always go back into this little area and you can change the hue and make it darker if you would like, or if you want. And I do the same thing as before. You know, I take that little snake looking thing, I draw around it, and then I press the little arrow and I move it into place to what I like. And now comes my favorite part. The highlights, I use the luminescence and the light pen, and you're going to I kind of make either circles or ovals like on the side. Just pretty much play around to what you think you like, and you're gonna lower the size to make these little dots. You want it to be bigger to do those circles because it just looks better. And I kind of mark around where there should be like watery looking parts and so forth. But after you do that, you're going to want to create the eyeshadow, and I typically do this. Right now she has this like fuchsia reddish pink color. You go into saturation brush and that same makeup brush, and you just go over that, and I typically go over it with white after I do that color, and it just looks a lot better. But I mean, that's pretty much it. Have a good day and bye.